Coal is definitely one of the most needed resources if you're planning to make a lot of stuff in Minecraft. And also iron, probably one of the most needed resources in the entire game. But what do both of these resources have in common for me? You see, in my mod pack, I need both of these to make steel. The first step being turning the coal into coal coke in a coke oven, and then use the coal coke with iron in a blast furnace and you're gonna get yourself some steel. And in order to do this process, you cannot switch coal with charcoal. It has to be coal, regular coal. But at the moment, I do not have an automated way of doing that for me because I want tons and tons of steel because we need it for a lot of structures and for decoration blocks as well. And even though I'm farming iron here, and yes, I did speed up all of my machines. You guys pointed out that they were all very slow. They're a little bit faster now. And we're also slowly gathering up some iron on the excavator as well. I do not have any way of getting coal. Plus, this guy is very, very slow as is. And I did connect it to my oil rig, I guess you can call it that, my tiny oil rig at my base. But it drains the power super fast. But besides that, we have another issue as well, which should be quicker to resolve. And that is my hunger bar. I have no source of food at the moment. Well, technically, this is my source of food at the moment. It's just stealing from the nearby villages and then making bread and stuff like that. But that's not really self-sufficient because I have to keep coming back here. And I kind of want to have better food sources than just bread. So let's start with food. And with food, I want to do something that involves cabbages, carrots, potatoes, and beetroots. And that is very simply this recipe right here. That if you put all 4 of these, you'll get vegetable soup that also gives you 3 minutes of comfort. So seems good to me. So I expanded my little tree farm, so now we have a crop farm over there, which is where I'm going to be planting my seeds. And I also have that spot over there, which is where I'm going to make a tiny kelp farm, because we're going to need tons of kelp for what we're going to be doing today. Now, in theory, what I just did should work. Basically, we have 6 deployers and 6 harvesters. The harvesters will collect anything that grows, and the deployers will just plant seeds. Now, what I do have over here is that you can see the first 2 of them are set for either cabbages or beetroots, because this one gives the seeds and the vegetable. So I put 2 of each because they're also the inner circle, which means there's less spots for them to share. And then on the outer ones, one's potatoes, one is carrots, and that should work. Well, that being said, I did remember that some villages come with rich soil, which means I can actually just swap off this entire farm area with rich soil, because this one is actually going to grow the crops faster, so we will have tons more of them. And now this one is the one for kelp. Very simple, using the same concept as that one basically, but we don't need any deployers here. We just need something that's low enough for kelp to be placed and then grow, and then the harvesters pick them up and then it puts them into here. And you can see this is very, very fast. Well, something is going wrong over here because the things are not getting farmed. They're just getting destroyed, and I have no idea why, because it seems it's not like all the time, but sometimes it does happen. I'm gonna try and see if it happens again. Oh, yep, you saw that, didn't you? Wait, is that because of the soil? It is. Whenever the soil makes them grow out of it. Wow. Okay. Then I cannot use rich soil. Or else eventually, like, all the items are just gonna be dropped on the floor. They're not really getting... Like, some of them do get picked up. But if it kind of overgrows. The plant just like breaks itself for some reason. Oh, that's bad. So I had to revert this back to dirt and see if the same thing happens. Now, moving forward with that, I'm just doing a little bit of an experiment over here. Basically, I'm trying to get to see if 9 pieces of dripstone can keep up with 9 blaze burners. Because what a single lava bucket, if you give it to the blaze burner, it lasts for 16 minutes. And I'm guessing it's like an entire like water bucket or lava bucket, even though they consume like mega milli buckets per tick or something like that. What I'm basically trying to guess is that after 16 minutes, it should have consumed an entire bucket. And from my research, the dripstone gives me a lava bucket about every single Minecraft day, which is around 20 minutes, I think. So this may not be enough, but I'm gonna do a test and see if the tank goes up or down. Like right now it's going down, but I need to just wait a little bit and see if it actually keeps going down or if it just goes back up after a while. If it doesn't, probably 2 sets of these should do the trick. So something like this, but with that spot replicated on the left, should actually be able to handle that amount of blaze burners. Hopefully. And yeah, just as I thought, this is actually losing lava, which means we probably need 2 setups of these. So with that knowledge in mind, this is our time to just get over this spot and give it a complete makeover. You see, I want to make something repeatable that I can use for several dig spots, basically. That's what we're going to call our excavation sites, where we can get tons and tons of resources. And I want to make it as a blueprint that then we can use to create more blueprints to just block down whenever we need. And this is where our blaze burners are going to come in, because I want to place boilers that are actually powering these things over here. The boiler can output a lot of energy, like a lot of energy. So hopefully we can just place down a boiler for every single one of these and max out its speed. Of course, that will involve tearing everything down and momentarily stop this from working and even breaking it apart as well. Behold, the boiler power. Now, is this gonna hold up? I hope so. I hope this is actually gonna hold up. So basically what we have over here, we have 18 dripstones into 18 cauldrons. Then we got a little bit of a pump over there that's pumping into this just tank. So we have a little bit of a buffer here. I don't want to immediately output into them. I want to like stockpile in case something goes wrong. And then it goes into the boiler. Now I still need more fluid tanks to make the boiler a little bit taller. I want to be able to max size this, but I don't think it really matters because these guys are actually eating lava. So as long as they're only eating lava, this will never like full power. So I don't really need to actually maximize it in height. What I want to do is that I want to get a stressometer. So I kind of want to see if I need an extra, like one of these, maybe, because I can have more. I have more steam engines. I just don't know if like that is that enough. Like, what if I do this? Is this going to increase anything? No, it actually isn't. It seems to do the same power. The only thing that's changing right now is the heat, and the heat, well, hopefully it will slowly start filling up all the blaze burners. I hope it does. This one is going up, so as long as one of them is going up, all of them should be going up. And now the next step is make a bunch of these alternators that's going to convert all that boiler power into electricity, so then I can just pump it into the excavator. So I'm probably gonna make like a stack of these and see how many that single boiler can handle. So basically I'm gonna use a mechanical arm to do this process for me. I went ahead and put filters, as you can see, on the recipe itself in the mechanical crafters. Then I made up all the items necessary for a stack of them. And now all I really need to do is that I need to tell that this is, well, the input, and it's gonna pick up the items. Okay, there we go. This is the input. It's gonna take items from here and is going to place them all here. So you right click, it uses it as a pickup point, and if you shift right click, it's gonna use it as a deposit point. So now it should, well, of course, very, very slowly, I think. Yeah, there you go. It should very, very slowly start giving me what I want. Now, this is probably a little bit too slow, so I might just want to grab that power from there and give it a little bit of a kick. But I think so far we're good, because we should just like AFK a little bit and get this thing going. Ah, there we go. A lot faster now, just taking the power from upstairs. And I should really just remove these water wheels here, because they're not doing anything at the moment. That being said, as you can see, it's now going to craft me an alternator. There we go. And then, after that one is done, it should, like, this guy should start placing everything where he needs to do. Yep. We go to the front. Yep. There we go. So we can see that this is actually going at a decent speed. And, well, even though we don't have any sort of extra power, this is consuming everything and more because we're not generating enough. We're doing 1.8 plus 1.1, which means we're doing only 2.9. So it's not even enough to run this guy at max speed. But it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. So I'm actually okay with this. So I have myself a schematic and quill, and an empty schematic. This will later be used to imprint the schematic that we're gonna get from here. But this is all good and dandy. We could just plop this down everywhere we need to. But I want to make this thing look good. You know, this needs to look good. Plus, we're probably going to be toggling this guy off in a second because we don't have any resource management from what he's actually producing. So we have to focus on that as well. But my intention here is make this a very good looking place. So we can just replicate it in a lot of places. And then we'll probably be able to handle with what's coming out of here. And then we need to take this into a coal zone because we're getting copper and iron here, which is definitely great because we need both of those a lot for a lot of these recipes. But I want coal. I want coal. And while we're waiting for some things to craft, let's go ahead and test this thing. Yes, because we already got some stuff in. So we should hopefully just start getting a food source. And I have to stop going hunting for food because this is annoying me. But I don't want to have to eat, so I'm gonna make myself a feeding upgrade. I only need one of these ender pearls, and now we should just craft this, and we're gonna upgrade it, even though I believe the upgrade doesn't do anything special. I think it's just a filter, because we want to filter something out. But at the moment, we have a feeding upgrade, which should feed us whenever we need food. And now we just go ahead and grab this vegetable suit and put it on our backpacks, and done. Whenever we need to eat, this will automatically feed us the meal. And so here we go. We now have like the base factory building. It does need a little bit of lights in here still though. Okay, a few extra lights here and there, just so this doesn't get that much darker at night. For example, we can put like one there, so this is illuminated and stuff like that. But now, I believe it's time for me to just stop the machine for a second, because we kind of need to grab onto our schematic right here and, well, put this inside of a schematic. Now, take a look at the chunk loading, or not the chunk load, the chunks. I put it exactly in the middle of the chunk, and it goes one out in each direction, which is basically the walls. So if I'm chunk loading, everything on the inside is chunk loaded, except for the walls, you know, because I don't need to chunk load the walls. So if we take a look and we select here, might need to go up one block because of that, but we go down here and we select this corner, and you might think that's it, but no, we gotta go up here And I believe we can alt scroll. No, that's not it. Shift scroll. No. How do I do this? I know I can move this. I do not remember how though. Alt, control, there we go. Control went up one block and it's now covering this. And I do believe I have to go downstairs. Yep. And lower it one. And I think I need to lower it once more. No, I don't. That's perfect. Okay, so this is the perfect size now. It has everything and all the items I need inside of it. So basically, if I just right click this and can now put a schematic, and we're going to call it the miner factory. There we go. And it is now saved. So if we go into the schematics later, we can do this, but we do need a schematic table to be able to upload a schematic into here. And now having our schematic at hand, we can just place it wherever we want. And I centered it on that chunk because I know that on that chunk we have bituminous coal, which means we should be able to get tons and tons of coal out of here. And you can see I'm just barely putting it over the edge, which means everything here is inside the chunk. Now, it doesn't actually copy liquids when we do this, and that's a bummer, but it's okay. It's okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it here. That remembers the place, and we're gonna load it into the cannon. Now, this is gonna need some gunpowder to run, but it also is going to need the resources, like all of these resources that I used to build, it's gonna need it as well. So we're gonna have to go ahead and grab tons and tons of resources to be able to build this thing, which is gonna be very, very annoying, but it should be able to do it. And in order to know what we need, we can just grab clipboard, place it into the schematic cannon, and now it should tell us every single item that we need in order to, well, build this. And you can see we literally have nothing. So I'm gonna have to spend a while just crafting all of these resources. And now here it is on all its glory. But of course, this isn't without its own problems. You see, whenever I'm placing the blueprint, there's a little bit of an issue, mainly with these inset lights, because they just don't stick. Like that one is placed on that wall, it was just sitting floating here, that one was floating here. For example, if I come around, all of these that are in place, I had to break the other ones and place them. For example, if you go over here, yeah, you can see these ones, they're not in the wall, they're just floating here. These ones as well, they're not in the cauldrons, they're just floating in the air. That one was also not there, it was like in that corner over there. So yeah, I'll probably have to do another blueprint that has no lights, and hopefully that's okay. There's also another, like a couple other issues, like for example, these tanks do not properly build themselves, so you're gonna have to like break one and replace them. The boiler as well, because it doesn't actually put these powered shafts for some reason. I thought it would, but it doesn't. Like, it's create mod, so it shouldn't have an issue, but it just does for some reason. And of course, this guy is now working, and I had to do a little bit of an upgrade to the storage. You can see I'm now rocking sophisticated storage as an update to the pack, and this bad boy is rocking 2 stack upgrades tier 2, which means it can hold several stacks of the same item. Like, it can go up to 1024 items in the single slot, which is amazing for me because it means I can just leave this guy running for a while without having issues of it just clogging the entire barrel. And I did the same for the iron and copper farm here as well. Which also means I could update this system here back home as well, make it a little bit faster in terms of how it processes things, a little bit faster, and now it rotates here. The belts I can make faster if I wanted to, because they're getting powered over the water wheel, so I can also make it faster. And the chest here just stockpiles a lot more items, which is very good for me because it's also not going to fill up instantly. Well, since this episode is taking a little bit longer, I cannot do fully what I wanted, but we can take a look at what I can do. And now, for example, if we make the coke oven here, we can actually improve our blast furnace into this bad boy, which is the improved blast furnace. There we go. And this guy has an actual input, because the other version does not have an input. This one, you can input items from the top. And we can also use preheaters, which I believe we can do plenty of them. Yeah, because they're pretty cheap. But really the main thing about these guys is at the actual input that we have at the top, which means that we can actually just put coal into here and then use, for example, a belt that would go all the way to around here, and then we'd have some sort of way of actually sending the item up here, and then we'd have the input of coal and the input of iron, and boom, we have automated steel. So for example, something like this should actually work using the immersive engineering conveyor belts. We have an extracting conveyor belt, then vertical conveyor belts that take the items up, and hopefully it would just go into the furnace. Now, of course, this needs a lot of tweaking, and when I say a lot of tweaking, like there's a lot of tweaking, and this will need an entire factory for itself. So as a quick test, as you can see, we can, for example, put an iron ingot into the belt, and it's going to go up there and go up there and get picked up by the hopper and sent and or inputted here into the blast furnace. Now this, of course, needs an input of the iron ingots and the coke, coal, whatever you want to call it, as you can see. So now, whenever this guy is just gonna go ahead and jump right on in, it should immediately start cooking the steel. Of course, this needs like an control of the input for iron and coal coke, and that requires well, a lot of work, which unfortunately does not fit into this video, but is definitely going to be the next one, where we're going to make a full-on factory just to deal with this, and hopefully take the inputs of both our other factories, or I guess miners, you could call them that, and mix them both in the same steel factory. With all that said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't, and of course, and as always, see ya in the next one. Bye!